Fuamoko has someone clipping their sneezes. Yeah. You know, this is nothing about them. This is just about people in general. There are a lot of people that see them as just characters because they are very characterized in how they act, you know, because they're acting as characters, which is fine. That's kind of the point. But there are people that just see them purely like as characters like that and treat them purely as that. And then there's a point where I'm just like, ugh. Some things like that can be totally fine for you to deal with. Other things can be really weird for you to deal with as a VTuber. It's not VTuber specific too. There's streamers who very much act like a character. I'd say actually arguably more non-VTubers do it really strongly. But, you know, it's one of those things where people forget to be like, yeah, this is just a person. This is literally just a person. Yeah, most streamers' characters. Exactly. You're trying to tell me, like, Tyler1 is not just a character? Like, yeah, that dude's kind of like that, too. Right, like the queso chatters. Yeah, I was talking about that the other day. Someone made a joke in my chat because I mentioned queso because I like watching him. I like his streams. And, someone made a fat joke. And I was like, hey, stop. Because I don't know how he currently feels and what his exact line is on that. But I remember seeing a clip of him being like, yeah, I just wish those comments would stop. And I was like, oh, because people were like, oh, it's his character. They were treating him like Peter Griffin, you know? Like, yeah, he does play into it. But at the same time, there's a point where it's not about the content of the joke. It's about how you say it, right? So there are some things that people say where I'm like, we could back up on this. But yeah, they're straight up treating him like Peter Griffin. Like he's just a character for me to make fun of the weight of. And I was like, no, he's not. He's a dude, and that's what his weight is too. It's not a fat suit that he put on to pretend or something. Like he just is what he is, and he shows you what he is. So you know, like some things you can joke about, but it's how you do it that you know you gotta be careful. Yeah, you said I like joking and teasing, but not if it crosses the line to making the person feel genuinely bad. Yeah, because I think it's about the wording usually. I think you can joke about pretty much anything, but if the joke is good, then it's really clear. Like you were saying it because you wanted to make the joke. It didn't matter what the topic was. You wanted to make a joke and the joke was funny, right? But then when there's no tact to it and you're just like, haha, that streamer fat. And that's it. There's no cleverness to it. You're not really telling a joke. You know what I mean? You're actually just pointing a finger and laughing. Right? Like he plays into it a lot, but when he plays into it, there's some sort of clever quip, there's some sort of line, there'll be some sort of food thing happening on the screen and he'll make a joke relating to the food and his weight. And it's kind of like you see the setup there. There was a setup and a punchline, therefore it was clearly like a setup for a joke. That's fine. But yeah, some people just go into his chat and are like, Lamau, something fat. And I'm like, what? At least tell a joke, like an actual joke. You're just like mocking and that's it. Like, I don't know. They're doing the equivalent of some kid walking up to someone else on the street and going, you're old, ha 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 ha. Like, you know what I mean? Same energy. I wish people would just, I don't know. Like, it's totally fine if the streamer plays into it, but you know, like it's gotta be funny at least, right? You ever have a kid do that to you? Where they just point something out about you, like physically, and then just laugh? They have no punchline. They have no joke set up. They just show up and laugh. I had a huge bruise on my leg at one point a while back, like an enormous bruise. My leg was very hurt. I was recovering. I was walking around. Some kid just like poked it, which hurt a lot. Poked it and went, your legs hurt. Ha ha ha. And I was like, this is why I hate children, dude. I know why they're like this. They don't get it yet. But I was like, bro, I was like, what the It was not funny. It'd be funny if he saw it happen, right? Like if I fell and ate shit and he saw me fall, it could be funny to laugh at the fall if it happened in a funny way. That's fine. But he was just like, oh, your leg's in pain, haha. I was like, okay. Pratfalls used to be a thing. Yeah. I find videos and compilations of people falling over, stuff like that, to be really funny in a pratfall kind of way. But there are other times where in the middle of a compilation like that, I'll see one and I'll be like, okay, that one wasn't funny, you know, because it's like either level of gore or like, you know, sometimes like there was nothing funny about it. Right? Now, what is funny is when people go full Scorpion. I'll show you. There is a subreddit related to this. One of the few times I suggest using Reddit is if you go to a video or picture-based Reddit just to look at some sort of, you know, media of a certain type. There's one called Full Scorpion where the idea is sometimes people fall and they kind of land on like their face / chest and their legs go so far behind the back of their head. It goes over their head that they just turn into a circle and they call that full Scorpion. Okay? And there's a subreddit dedicated to people just going full Scorpion. Now that's always funny. Here's one. There was a dude in a skate park, okay? And he was on a little scooter and he fell and he looked like this. He fell forward, like from where this camera is standing forward away, and he landed and went like this, like with his legs completely over. It's never not funny, man. Highly recommend Full Scorpion. That's a good one. It's a banger. Done that before. My back felt amazing afterward. My everything else hurt though. Yeah.